What's up? What's up? What's
Yo.
What's up, you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so elated that you guys are here. Happy Tuesday. You ready, Tonya?
Let's go.
Welcome, you guys, to our group coaching. Today is Tuesday. I am Ashley Denmark.
I'm Antonio Denmark.
We are your expert funding. We are your funding experts. There we go.
We're your group narrators.
Yes, we're your trainers, and we are excited to come along this journey with you as you get off the sideline and get into the game. Our biggest why when it comes to helping people, when it comes to helping our family, is really helping you overcome those fears and get started. Get started in real estate, get started in taking it to the next level and just letting go the excuses, getting enough information so that you feel confident when it comes to doing what you do.
The one thing I would say, and I'm not just talking about real estate, I'm talking about entrepreneurship, life in general. You can't win the game if you don't get in the game.
Right.
My 10-year-old daughter, she is probably the best example of this. She sit on the sideline at my 8-year-old basketball games and she criticizes everything. They don't know what they're doing. They can't shoot. They can't dribble. But ask her how many times have she played organized sports?
Right. And just in total transparency, she's probably the most nervous when it comes to failing, where if she feels like it's something, she's going to fail it. She's not even going to try to be a part of the competition because she doesn't like the way that failure feels. But guess what? Who does like the way that failure feels? Like, no, failure hurts. Nobody. Everybody has some type of fear when it comes to failing. But guess what? How do you even know what success looks like if you don't fail? Like, how do you even do it? You gotta fail. It's inevitable. Like, it's just something that has to be done. But if you fail, get back up, move quicker, because now you know what not to do, not or even what to do. You know how to maneuver and shake some things because this is where you failed before. So guess what? I'm gonna bypass that hole because I remember where I went with that hole. Or if I fall in it, I know how to get back up in that hole. So it's all a learning process. I think we're gonna forever learn. We're gonna forever grow. We're gonna forever fail. We're gonna forever get pushed to reach those goals.
Let's check in. Let us know where you're from today. If you're from Birmingham, drop Birmingham. If you're not from Birmingham, let us know where you're from. What big city you are around. So we're gonna check in to see who we got tuned in with us. If you have questions,
please
ask your questions.
Please.
I'm not telling you we'll be able to get to all of them because in an ideal world, we want you to send the questions in before we start so that we can properly answer them. But if we have a few minutes at the end, we will come back and answer some of the questions that you guys put in the chat.
So, absolutely.
In our group, already coded, people dropped some questions, people DM'd us some questions. So a lot of times you have them burning questions that you're trying to figure it out, but you really don't understand. You really don't know how to maneuver. So the one thing that I will say is, man, ask your questions.
Yes.
Let us help you overcome some of those obstacles to get to the next level.
Absolutely. Someone said, just fail fast. Absolutely. Just fail fast. Fail fast, fall hard, and get over it. Get over it. Real quick before we go into the Ask the Denmark series, you guys, if you see this QR code up at the top, it is so that you can go ahead and register for our live training. It's going to be held on March 27th, 2024 at 7 p.m. You have to register to attend this training. All right. So I have it rolling at the bottom. I'm going to continue it rolling, but I'm also going to have the QR code come up every once in a while during the training. Make sure you attend. If you want to learn how to get funding, how to get started, how to rehab, how to work with contractors, how to literally get off the sideline, that's the training that you're not going to want to miss that Antonio and I are having.
If you have not done a deal, you're doing yourself a disservice by not going to this training.
If you've done under 10 deals, you need to be at that training.
All right.
For real. Because I find out a lot of times that people feel like they are so good investing, and many of them don't even know what a deal is, but they had luck on their first two or their first three. but don't really have
That
the
don't mean 10
foundations.
though, baby. You said 10. You can't have luck on
Under
10.
5.
Okay, I can do
Under
5.
5.
I
Okay.
can do 5, not
Okay.
10.
But I realize, and I see, and they even realize when we're talking that the foundations are missing. So let's make sure you get the foundations so that you can hit the ground running. All right.
Let's go.
You ready?
I said, let's go.
You ready? All right. So one question that we received was, what are the top 5 websites that every investor should use? And this was such a loaded question that we received, because we literally had to like stop and say, okay, well, what are the 5 websites or apps that every investor should have?
So the question originally came in as, what's the top 5 apps? And it was like, there aren't necessarily apps that you necessarily need, but there are websites that you really need. So we kind of tweaked it just a little bit to where it's not only apps, but it's more so the websites that you need when you are trying to be a successful real estate investor.
Absolutely. So starting off with number 1, we're going to talk about comps. So how do we find comps? How do we find good comps? So you need to have the valuator. If you don't have the valuator, guess what? I got that link rolling at the bottom. Try it for free.
But who in the world gonna put all of that in at the bottom?
Okay. We'll drop it in the chat. How about that? Okay. All right. I mean, it was readily available. I had to try it.
Readily available.
All right. So the valuator allows you to look at different properties that are similar, compare them to others wherever you are. You can be looking at the valuator in Tennessee, looking at a property in New York. It will allow you to locate those comps of sold properties that are equivalent to the one that you're trying to comp out. All right.
Real estate agents, they like to use RPR MLS. Other investors like to use courthouse retrieval system. So if you're not a real estate agent or you don't have access to that software or program, the valuator and courthouse retrieval is going to be your number 1 friend. And you need to get comps. You need to get comparables. You need to see what houses are worth. You need to see what houses are renting for. That's the number 1 thing that I think you need to have as an investor, because if the value is wrong and you're not getting the correct data, then you can overpay for a house and it can be all bad.
Absolutely. And then the second website or app that you need a way to sign contracts. So we typically like to use PDF Filler. That's our go-to for signing contracts. But other apps and websites that you can have is DocuSign and HelloSign. We use both of them from time to time, but PDF Filler is where we house a lot of them.
So if you can't get a contract signed, you can't get a contract. So, and a lot of times going to somebody's house and sitting down and signing is kind of the old school.
Old. We're not even doing that anymore.
We are sending documents electronically. So you need to be able to send your documents electronically, even if you're renting a property. Those things are sent electronically. You don't have to be face to face with those things anymore.
Absolutely. So make sure that we said number 1 was making sure you're able to determine what a comp is. So pick one. If you're a realtor, use RPR or MLS. If you're not, use the valuator. The link is in the comments. If you don't want to use valuator, you need to use the courthouse retrieval system, but they're going to be the ones that give you the best bang for your buck when it comes to getting comps.
So things we don't use, we don't like using Zillow. Sometimes realtor.com is good, but like y'all, comps are important. They put some good comps.
Comps will make or break your deal, because if you feel like it's worth $300,000, but it's really worth $250,000, all that profit that you thought you were going to make, if you're a wholesaler or an investor, is shot out the door. All right. So number 3 on the list,
we are talking about the top 5 websites you need as a real estate investor. Right now, we're on number 3.
Number 3 is a way to capture your leads. If you are just starting out, you don't need a big CRM. A CRM is a customer report manager. All right. Did I say relationship manager? Yes. You see me like, did I say that right?
Yeah.
A customer relationship manager. So if you're brand new, use Google Suites. When I say Google Suites, I'm talking about Google Sheets. Build a spreadsheet. Use Google Docs. Use your Google Drive. Use that to capture your leads. Use a Google form in Google Suites to capture your leads to go to a Google Sheet. That way you're able to follow up. You're able to put the property address. You're able to do everything without having an expensive CRM. If you're doing this full time and this is something that you want to do when it comes to full time, then go to get REI Black Book, get Real Flow. We've used Real Flow for probably the first 10 years of our business. We were literally in Real Flow. Every lead came in through Real Flow and was tagged. Use something that you can manage and grow. I would still say that if Real Flow still has some of the capabilities that we need right now, as far as funnels and websites, we would still be in Real Flow. It took a lot to get my team out of Real Flow. They were like, this is what we need.
Yeah. And Real Flow is the product of Flips to Fortune, Dan Merrill. What's the program called actually? Fortune Builders. Fortune Builders. So we are a part of Fortune Builders. So that was their software, and that was one of our early trainings that we purchased. So
I was trying to remember the creator of it when we met him when he came to Birmingham, but I couldn't think of his name. All right. So number 1 was comps. Number 2 was.
You started this recap now.
You are ridiculous. What was number 2, Antonio? A way to sign contracts. Number 3 was making sure you have a way to capture leads. And number 4 is a way to create marketing. So you want to be able to create marketing. Nobody knows what you do. Nobody knows what your business is. Nobody knows if you're a wholesaler. Nobody knows if you're an investor, if you're not telling them. So Canva has a very free version, a free way to be able to create marketing. There's a paid way. Don't start the paid way immediately. Do the free way. There's enough things going the free route to leverage your business and to grow versus doing a paid version. All right.
This is
Adobe Spark, Pixlr. There we go.
This is probably the slide that most people probably didn't expect. But understand that marketing is the lifeline of your business. If you can't market your business, you can't make sales. So you have to have marketing as a part of everything you're doing. It is the most valuable thing. And that's coming from a person who did not like marketing.
Right. Y'all. You see how I'm looking.
Like I used to despise marketing until I seen the growth in our own business by this young lady next to me. And at that point, and along with other trainings and other mentorships and masterminds, I was open to the idea of marketing is it. Nobody buys the best product.
No, they buy the product that they see the most. They buy what they feel from that product.
Yes.
So you can have the best cake in town, but guess what? If nobody knows it's the best cake in town, nobody's going to come get it. Nobody's going to pay for it. So whatever it is, you have to show that you have the best. And the only way to get that out to the masses is by marketing your business. So brand new real estate investors, you got to market.
You got to market.
We buy houses, 20 a move. We buy and sell houses. That's what we do.
These shirts, y'all. Marketing. We're walking billboards.
Yes. Oh, wrong one. How do you contact me? It's right here.
So understand that that's the sauce. In example, some of the best cake I've ever had is from my guy Omar.
My Sweetheart Bakery.
My Sweetheart Bakery. He done been in a bunch of different locations, but his main spot was Fairfield. It's better than Eggers all day.
All day.
But he doesn't have a Eggers budget to market. So you don't know his cake is the best because Eggers outmarket him.
Yeah, his cake is so good.
So good.
We were at Chick-fil-A one time, and Aaliyah, she was probably about 6. There was a party next to us, and we had just went to, he was in Centerpoint at that time. We had just went to Omar's shop because Aaliyah always wants the strawberry cake. She said, "Ma, can you go to Mr. Omar so I can get a strawberry cake since we're in the area?" Absolutely. We had a birthday party at the Chick-fil-A in Center Point. They were offering her birthday cake. She said, "Oh no, thank you." I said, "Well, Leah, why did you do that? Why did you do that?" She said, "Because Mr. Omar cake is better than birthday cake." Marketing. And it was because he would get, but on the flip side, to her, he would donate cake to her school. So she was able to say, like, "Oh yeah, just by taste, that birthday cake is nothing. Can we call Mr. Omar for school? Can we do that?" But no, it doesn't compare to your big brands.
All right.
I went on a tangent just then.
Way left. We talk about marketing. You talk
All
about
right.
birthday parties.
So number five is a place to market to your clients. All right. So we talked about a way to create the marketing, and next is a place to market to clients. So finding out where your clients are and marketing to them. Google, Facebook ads, even scheduling posts and letting your whoever you're on social media with, letting them know exactly what it is that you're doing. You might can't always dedicate time to schedule posts. I mean, to make posts, but you can schedule posts. You can take Sunday and you can schedule your posts for the week. And we like to use Hootsuite or Buffer. We've used Hootsuite for probably about as long as we've used RealFlow. And Hootsuite lets us do it to different social media platforms. Buffer has a free version and they have a paid version. We first started with Buffer because they would let us do, I think, 3 at a time, 3 different social media channels. And then Hootsuite let us do as many and do a bulk upload. So whatever it is, start somewhere. Even if you're scheduling it with Facebook, Facebook will allow you to schedule your posts. Just do it. Let people know what it is that you're doing. So those are the top 5 websites slash apps that you must have on your phone.
All right, let's go. And this is actually Demarch Anything. These are some questions that we got earlier that people asked us. So if you got some questions, drop your questions in, and we can talk about it.
Someone said you can schedule in Canva too. Bam. So now you got 2 for 1. Now you got 2 for 1. All right. Question 2. Where does the funding come from? Where does the funding come from? Oh, that's a great question. Where does the funding come from, Antonio?
All right. So the funding comes from different places. It's not all just one place. So I'm going to name a few places that funding comes from. Funding will come from what we like to call hard money lenders, which is real estate funding. And when you do real estate funding, you use they will loan you the money to buy the house, and they will loan you the money to fix the house. All right. So that's where a lot of the money comes from for real estate. I just going to say something.
Go ahead.
You can also use some traditional banks. There are some banks that have funding programs for investors. We don't use them, but you can use them. Private money lenders, your friends, your family, your co-workers, family reunion, picnics, wherever you going, asking them if they're interested in funding or being a part of a deal is where funding comes from real estate. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Next week, we are doing a training directly on private money lenders and how to talk to them, how to present to them, how to intrigue them to want to invest in you in your deal. All right. So if you're not tuned in next week to that training, you're gonna miss that.
Absolutely. So we talked about another one is business funding, turning your credit into cash and using that to invest in real estate, using that to fund your deals, even using it to fund other people's deals is how you can use business funding. Personal money.
If you got money, save some money, that can happen. Now, I don't recommend it. That's not the first choice that I would tell you to do. I would always try to leverage first. But if some people are blessed, some people have funds, or
some people have 401k,
some people have lines of credits on their house. So if you have those type of things, you can turn that into cash and also invest in real estate. So that's where the money comes from.
All right. What's the easiest way to get started? What's the easiest way to get started? Y'all know my answer, right? Just do it. No, but
That's
for real.
not my answer. That's her answer.
But for real, you can pay for mentorship, get coached, or partner up with an experienced investor that can walk you through the process so that you're not losing. Honestly, at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're not losing. You want to make sure that you cover as many bases as possible. So if you can't afford mentorship or coaching, then find someone that has done multiple deals, that have had success, that has systems and processes in place that you can literally shadow them or partner with them until you get the job done.
So if like we tell a story all the time about Devontae Lee and Eddie. When they started, they didn't have money to pay for coaching. So they basically partnered with us and they would intern, and in turn, we would help them with their real estate. They didn't start with money.
No, you don't have to start with money. You just have to start.
Yes. Now, when we started, our first thing was buying mentorship. We was buying coaching. That's just kind of where we come from. We are.
Well, we were fresh out of college, so education was all that we knew.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say to
You gotta prove it.
you. So, yes. So understand that those are the two quickest ways. Don't get out there and be a lone wolf and want to do it yourself, y'all. Don't do it. It's not about showing that you know it all. Man, y'all get with somebody that can help y'all navigate these waters. There are sharks out here that will take advantage of you. So make sure you understand how you're moving and what you're doing. And this is real money we're playing with.
Not monopoly.
It's not monopoly money. All right. I want to hear you call me and say, hey man, the contractor just got me for $15,000.
And I haven't seen them.
It happens. I ain't seen them in 3 months. So understand that there's a way to move out here in these streets. And if you're not moving correctly, you can have problems.
In these streets. All right. So next question was, do I have to have a degree to invest in real estate? Absolutely not. You don't have to have a degree to invest in real estate. You don't have to have a degree to be an investor, period. Do you need some education? Absolutely. Whether it's YouTube University, whether it's right here in REI Decoded, make sure you are getting trained. Make sure you're getting some information, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that that deal that you think is a deal is really a deal, and then how to execute that deal. But if real estate investing is not really your forefront that you want to do, and you really want to be a realtor, you want to show houses, you want to market houses, that's more of your forte, then guess what? You do have to have a license to be a realtor, but you don't have to have a license to be an investor.
So you kind of touched on this, and I want you to go deeper.
Okay.
Is there a difference between a real estate investor and a real estate agent?
Yeah. So some of them are the same. Sometimes you'll have an investor that becomes a realtor. Sometimes you'll have a realtor that becomes an investor. But an investor is someone who is taking that property from its first state, whether it's ugly or not so ugly, but taking it from a state, renovating, doing some type of enhancements, and then selling it for a profit. All right. An agent, a realtor, is taking that property that the investor renovated. They are marketing it. They are letting the world know this house is available. It is beautiful. Come see it for this price. The investor gets paid, and we're going to talk about pay real quick. The investor gets paid based off their numbers and based off of what it sells for. The realtor gets paid based off the sales price, a percentage of the sales price. So there's money to be made in both realms, depending on the deal. Depends on what that pay is for each one.
Real estate agents are also the ones who bring investor deals. So a lot of times a good real estate agent can bring you deals so that you can invest your money into, or someone else's money into, to make a profit. So understand those are two separate things. And sometimes they're combined,
Mm-hmm.
but is also separate.
I think they are amazing when they're combined because there's so many levels, there's so many streams of revenue you can create when they're combined versus when they're separate.
Totally agree.
All right, what's the next question? The next question is, I'm having a hard time finding deals in this market. What is the best way to find deals in this market? All right. Number one for me, make more
I would say
offers.
them ain't my answers.
Make more offers. If you're having a hard time finding deals, make more offers. Because a lot of times the reason why we're not finding deals is because we're not consistent, we're not making offers, and we're not following up. So be consistent, analyze deals, don't be afraid to make offers, and then follow up on those offers. The sauce is in the follow-up, y'all. The sauce is in the follow-up.
So I'm not gonna say those are not my answers.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is this takes me back to one of our pillars to success. You got to start networking. You got to start opening your mouth and telling people what you're doing, what you're trying to do, what your goals and what's your visions. Sometimes we get this. There's this saying of don't tell people what you're doing because they're gonna steal it and they're gonna go do it. What's for you is for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's your vision. That's your calling. No matter how many people I tell I want to buy houses, what's for me is for me.
And I can't buy all the houses. Like there's no way, there's no how. I don't have the capacity or the mental to
the
buy
money
all
or the capacity.
Right. So
don't want it.
Yeah. So guess what? Open your mouth, like Antonio said, tell people, and then watch how the referrals come through. Watch how you start getting deals from wholesalers who now know that, you know what, that person is an investor, that person's looking to invest, so let me send them some deals. This may fit what they're looking for. And then I would say the third way for finding deals is the MLS, the multiple listing services. It's where agents, it's where houses are listed, and depending on what state you're in, really determines if you're able to see the MLS listings or if you have to go strictly through a realtor in order to get those listings.
All right.
You want to add anything?
That was good to me.
All right. Make sure I'm not missing. Oh, absolutely. Someone put, there are lots of agents and investors in the group to partner with. Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. All right. Next question is, I have an LLC. Should I get a new LLC for investing or keep my current one?
Ooh. Okay, so we did a training on this topic in detail. What can they put to get that training? Put me a money bag. Put me a money bag in the comments, and I'll send you the training that we did on how to get funding in 30 days with your personal credit score. But the LLC was a big part of it. So to answer the question in a big picture way, if your LLC is less than 2 years old, if your LLC name is in a high risk industry, then don't use that LLC for business funding.
And yes, there are exclusions. Like there's some times where it may work, but consistently don't try to do it because there's a good chance that it may not work for you.
And
as far as having it in a name that's in a high risk industry. So high risk industries, for example, are
real estate,
tire shops, barber shops, salons, anywhere where trucking where cash is produced quickly.
So if you have a LLC, it's less than 2 years old or it's in a high risk industry, I would recommend you going to buy what's called an aged corporation. And when I say aged, AGED, aged corporation. There are people who sell corporations that have been seasoning for 2 years that have no activity. And if your credit profile is in line, I'll recommend you going to buy an aged corporation. That way you can maximize your funding. Not saying you can't get funding with a LLC that's less than 2 years old. Not saying you can't get funding with the LLC that's in a high risk industry. But if you're trying to maximize your funding, those are things that you want to try and avoid. Less than 2 years, high risk industry in the name.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Those conclude all the questions that we received via DMs and from the post.
So we'll go over a couple of things we got going on. If you got questions, drop them in there. If there's no more questions, we'll see y'all next week, Tuesday, at the private money training.
Absolutely. So mark your calendars, March 12th, 1 p.m. Central Time, same place, same location. Let's do it. Make sure you are in the place and ready to learn. If you have not signed up for our training, it's going down on March 27th. This is an absolutely free event. Get ready to learn how to start investing in real estate. We're going to go really deep in how we invest and how others have had success with investing in real estate under our mentorship. Tomorrow is our live event, our in-person event. There we go. We're going to be celebrating Antonio's birthday at the property walkthrough.
Oh, for real?
Yep, we're going to be celebrating your birthday. So come out. We're gonna look at how Tamika was able to purchase this property, how she was able to get it funding, and where she is right now in this rehab. So there's an active rehab going on. Come out, come ask your questions, and let's have some fun.
I think she's a great example of being a real estate agent and an investor.
Absolutely.
Perfect example. She is selling so many new construction houses.
Yes, she is.
She's killing it in that game.
Yes.
But she's also have her investment side that she's building also. All right. So understand it can be done. And that real estate agent side is good, but you really need to get on an investor side to create generational wealth and create passive income so that if things happen in the market that's not favorable in your behalf, you still have your real estate investor hat to fall back on.
Absolutely.
So you got questions in?
Yep. So first question is, what is the minimum amount of funds that you recommend for starting real estate investing? I think this is the loaded question. It kind of depends on what market you're investing in and how much that ARV is to really determine how much you're going to need. In the Birmingham market, if you are getting houses with an ARV between 120 to 180, then you're going to need all of 15 to 20,000 to start investing. Not that you're going to use all of it at one time, but that's what you're going to need in the bank to show.
Yeah. So my answer would be about 15,000 minimum. That's and understand, I'm not saying you have to have 15,000. I'm saying there are ways that you can get 15,000 to put into the bank to show the lenders that you have funds. But at about 15 is where I'm comfortable saying, hey, you can start looking at deals in this range with this rehab, with this purchase, and feel comfortable with getting approved for at least a hard money loan. Now, if you find a private lender, there is no minimum.
Right.
They're going to bring the funds. Mm-hmm. So hard money wise, real estate funding wise, $15,000 about where I say start at. If you are going private money, you don't have to have no money because they're going to bring the money.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the best way to find great GCs when you're not local to the area that you're investing in?
What was that?
That was like that was a great question. Why? Why? All right. So Antonio and I may have different answers because sometimes we think differently. Right brain, left brain. That's just how we do. So you get the best of both worlds messing with us. I didn't have enough coffee, huh? Yeah, I didn't drink it all. I would say going into the Facebook groups, in the areas and making posts. Hey, looking for a good contractor so say, for example, you're in the South Florida market and you're looking to invest in Georgia. Well, I'm going to go to the online yard sales. I'm going to go to all of those places where the community is. And I'm going to ask, hey, any good carpenters in the area, any good GCs, any good electricians that you guys would recommend? And then watch how people start to post on it. And maybe the first time it might not resonate where people may not respond. because of the Facebook algorithm, but do it again in 2 days at a different time and see if you get traction in.
No, I would. That was a good point. I mean, network, whether it's in groups, whether you even take a trip. I mean, I don't advise you have to take a trip, but just find where other investors are and network with them, whether they are online, whether they're in groups. Make connections. Understand this is a relationship-based business, y'all.
Absolutely.
This is relationship-based. And if you think that you can be a lone ranger and do all this by yourself,
You cannot.
you're mistaken. So understand that you have to build relationships. You got to have relationship equity with people.
Absolutely. Great
All
question.
right, let's go. We're finna get out of here. Time to get us some lunch. Thank y'all for coming.
If you have any additional questions, we'll be monitoring this chat, so you can go ahead and drop it in the chat. Also, don't forget to register for our live training March 27th at 7 p.m. Central. You can use that QR code and you can register. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. We will see you next week. Same place, same time. Peace.